to your point about Carson Beck and Shedeur Sanders, I tweeted this yesterday. And this is like, and we mentioned it, the thing we do on Sunday night. I got up on my soapbox about it then when we were talking about the Jets and how Sam Darnold, he gets away from the Jets.
This is what I was waiting for. This is what I was waiting for, Florio.
You've known me for like a year, and you know how to push my buttons already. But if I'm Carson Beck, Shedeur Sanders, top prospect, if the Panthers are going to draft me next year, my message to them is, I'll just live off my NIL money, and I'll re-enter the draft in 2026. I'm not going to let you ruin me the way you ruined Bryce Young, because at some point it's on the organization for drafting a guy they shouldn't have drafted, failing to develop him, and just putting him in the middle of dysfunction and expecting him to function. Mm-hmm. And Sam Darnold is the best example we have right now of what happens when you finally get a guy in a spot where he's got the players around him, he's got the coaching around him, he's got the ownership around him that can allow him to thrive. And I keep waiting for this to happen. I'm trying to speak it into existence because I think it's in the best interest. Because how many careers, Devin, have been ruined? Guys who could have been good quarterbacks in the NFL for 10 years. How many were ruined by the fact that they ended up at a crap organization?
I'll even throw in Geno Smith. We're watching him in Seattle right now, and he was on the Jets. It was like, this guy's terrible. So I agree with you, especially like you look at now with Carolina, and Andy Dalton will be 37 in October. I'm 37 years old. You think Andy Dalton is in a rush to get there and say, hey, like we saw that clip, Bryce Young is running for his life. They send one extra guy. You think the 37-year-old is going to be like, yeah, I'm so excited to get in there and run for my life. This whole time, Andy Dalton is sitting there like, hey, I want to go to a situation where they might want the backup to be good because I'll make more money. But the truth of the matter is, Bryce Young, stay in there. I don't want to play. So now you just set your organization back by now putting in Andy Dalton. And maybe he does maybe he does a good job. And I don't know, maybe they say we're not going to draft a quarterback, we're going to do something different. I will say a few years ago, I would be like, this is crazy. You got to go make the money. But the way these guys are making money now in college, it's a little bit more realistic to say, hey, even if you just threaten and you don't want to, and you are going to go, and if you're just trying to threaten that they don't pick you, is a better chance of coming in. And like you said, Bryce Young now is going to be the poster child of this, of coming in, being not only Carolina wanted him, there have been reports that Houston wanted to take Bryce Young.
Yep.
They wanted to move up and take Bryce Young. So all of a sudden, is he just not that good and everybody was wrong? Or is he just in a terrible situation surrounded by all these people where, hey, maybe these two guys, or maybe Quentin Ewers, whoever else you want to throw in this situation, who's in college now as a top quarterback, maybe they do come together and say, hey, we're not going to do this. We've made too much money. We'll stick around. Hey, we'll go commentate and watch all the games of our school last year and make more money than go and get absolutely killed in the NFL. And then in a year and a half, 2 years, everyone says we're not good. And now we got to be career backups, hopefully, until somebody finds us and we get to kind of do what's right, i.e. even Baker Mayfield now.
One of the examples I always point to for this dynamic is, what if Donovan McNabb had ended up not with the Eagles in 1999, but the Bengals, and Achilles Smith, the Oregon quarterback, had ended up with the Eagles instead of the Bengals? Does Achilles Smith become the borderline Hall of Famer, and does Donovan McNabb wash out of the league in a matter of 2 or 3 years? And, you know, if the Panthers had taken C.J. Stroud, they might have wrecked him. And Bryce Young could be thriving with the Texans. It goes so far beyond the innate skills and abilities of the individual. You're thrust into an environment where there's only so much you can control, especially in your first or second year. And I think not nearly enough. The draft has become this mystical thing, the Harry Potter sorting hat. Like, we all get enamored by it. But you submit to this as a player. You got no choice. That's always been my argument. You do have a choice. You do have power. And we get more and more of these NIL players coming into the NFL. They have power. I want to see them use it. And the reason they don't use it is because the fans will hate you if you even mention it. And that's wrong. They've been conditioned They've been conditioned to react negatively if a play, how dare you? How dare you? You're ungrateful. That's all crap. Guys need to think about their careers. And that's what you would want as a fan if it's your son, your brother, your nephew, your friend, your client, anybody you just happen to know or care about. You want them to be able to thrive in their job, not go to a place where they got one hand tied behind their back. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.